the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show. The best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go! It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, Jared Dubois, coordinated on a Thursday. You have a Bad Religion shirt. I'm just wearing black t-shirt.
You got to let people know who you represent.
I've never been a black t-shirt guy, or a plain t-shirt guy for that matter. And I'm finding, just after my birthday, which we didn't get to celebrate together because I don't think we've done a show.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I'm finding, like, plain t-shirts are attractive to me for some reason. What is that? Explain that.
That's serious old man game.
You think it's old man game? Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
you represent nothing these days.
I stand for nothing.
Yes.
I represent nothing. I'm a blank slate. No, I feel like with this particular t-shirt, and I have a whole rack of jerseys just to my left I could grab, but I just not feeling any of them tonight. I feel like this is a couple of things. Either I'm like trying like an old guy who's fronting a band that does like club shows. You know what I'm talking about? Like usually those guys are wearing like have tattoos and stuff I don't have. But don't say like that's or I'm like a bouncer
vibes.
Bouncer vibes, right?
It's
I'm
Joe Rogan vibes.
Bouncer.
I'm not liking the Joe Rogan vibes. I'm getting.
Is that a Joe Rogan? Do I look like am I channeling Joe? What if I just wore the cutoff and did Pat McAfee? What about that?
There was an MLS coach that wore like black T-shirts like that. Who was that?
Yeah, let's
Was
let's
it Ben
ask
Olsen? No, it wasn't Ben Olsen.
Ben Olsen definitely pulled it off. Yes, he did.
Oh wait,
He 100%.
was it Pecky?
Pecky probably did. Jersey guy or Long Island guy? Long Island guy absolutely
There are a
probably
few
busted
dudes
out
that
a
have
black
rocked
t-shirt.
like the solid black T-shirt. You know.
Yeah, 100%. All right,
Hey,
we're
they're
here on
Delilah from
Thursday.
playing white tees as well.
Black also the color of these training
Oh,
tops.
but Rob Bradley from the chat.
Bob Bradley. Well, that's like you're from New York, New Jersey, or from New York or New Jersey. You probably have worn a black T-shirt on the sidelines in Major League Soccer. Bruce Arena did black T-shirts back in the day. Another New York guy.
Maybe his T-shirts were problematic as well. I don't know.
Oh God. But he did have black T-shirts. It wasn't just white T-shirts in his closet. He also had black T-shirts.
Maybe he got in trouble for not equal representation.
Maybe he had more white T-shirts than black T-shirts, and
You know
that
what
came
that
back
says
to be
about
a
a man.
problem. I don't know.
Not us.
We are here ahead of a U.S. men's national team game against Germany on Saturday. And Jared, what's the level of excitement? Give me. I know we usually do DEF CON for like how concerned we are about the national team. We're at a DEF CON 1 situation right now because
We are at DEF CON 1.
there's really nothing to worry about. You only got Nations League to get into the
There's
finals.
literally
and if you make
Copa
that, you're
America
fine.
and nothing for the
Yeah.
that's important for the next like 4 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
basically,
Copa Americanada.
Instead of DEF CON, we could do how many ice cream trucks to show like how excited we are. I don't know.
What does ice cream trucks have to do?
I don't know. I just figured, like, I always think that there's I used to talk with my
Yeah.
brother about this. There was a player for the Lakers named Travis Knight back in the day, like typical white boy. Like if you think NBA whitest dude, Travis Knight was that guy.
By the way, I do have to jump
Just
in.
gonna
I'm
jump
sorry.
in right now.
I know
Jesus.
because Connor has called me out and he's right. DEF CON 5 is peace.
I was gonna let it
everybody's
go.
chill.
I was gonna let it go.
We haven't used it in so long, and I don't
It is
even
a
have,
confusing scale, to be honest.
I don't have 5 on the board.
Take us to DEF CON 3.
I got 3 on the board, and 3 is a state of
And you
readiness.
see how relaxed he was at going to 3. It wasn't that big of a deal. It's from 4 to 3. It was not that big
By
of
the
a
way,
deal.
that guy can't remember his name. Underrated actor, that guy
For sure.
Go
He's
ahead.
in a lot
Go
of
ahead.
stuff. Anyway, Travis Knight. I used to joke with my brother that this dude ran like there was an ice cream truck at the end of the court. Like it's like that Phoebe run from Friends.
Oh,
like,
God, that's the
like
best run.
like the arms are flailing kind of thing. Like that's
a
what I
kid
think of.
run.
Like so like when I'm thinking excited, I'm like, how many ice cream trucks? Because like you
Yeah.
never run like you ran when you were a kid towards an ice cream truck.
I think you should see my 2-year-old run, Mr. Thiago. When he runs with purpose, and he has seen entirely too many shows with superhero themes because that's all they're making for
He's
kids
got like
now.
Baywatch vibes.
It is. I don't know. It's a power run. He's like he's doing that. He's doing superhero poses all the time. Like
Nice.
it's like that. But he's definitely excited to get from one room to the other as fast as he can. So you're saying ice cream truck.
On a
we're
scale
running
of
after
1 to
the
5 to
truck.
ice cream trucks, I would say I'm a 3 on the ice cream trucks. I mean, I'm
right.
excited. I don't.
All right.
I think I'd be a little more excited if Tyler Adams was there, Gio was
Yeah.
healthy. There's some things around this that make it so it's like
Malik
okay,
Tillman
we'll see.
was still there. That would help, I think, for me a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's some things going on that makes it a little bit less than. But I think what's going to be difficult for the fan base is to not be results oriented over these 2 windows. It's not
That's
about
impossible.
results, you know.
That's impossible. It's not possible. And I wouldn't blame the fan base either. We don't have anything. We're in a wasteland, right?
Yeah.
We're sitting there on the island talking to the volleyball. Like, this is all we got. There's nothing else to compare ourselves to. I mean, Germany's kind of in that same boat, only they just kicked their last coach to the curb because they were like, oh, we're a little bit worried about next year. I don't think
Did they rehire yet?
They hired Nagelsmann. They hired
yeah,
Julian Nagelsmann. Yeah, which does change the complexion of
Yogi
things.
Love is still unemployed. How's that possible?
I don't think the man really wants to work.
You think he's on an island just eating things?
I think if you're Julian's he can do
He has
a
his pick of jobs.
full-on Louis Van Gaal, right? He can just basically be around, and if somebody wants to pick up the bat phone, and really because he's only, I don't know. I think he feels. We talked about this when he was our candidate for the U.S. men's national team job. He is so damn German, right? Like, he's so German, it's hard to imagine him outside of a German context. Like,
it's an interesting German team when you look at it too. It's just missing a lot of those classic names that, for those of us who remember Germany's heyday, you know, that even like the Mullers who stuck around forever.
Muller's there.
He won't be starting. Come on, like, he's not going to be.
No, why wouldn't Thomas Muller start?
I've seen a lot of projected starting lineups, and he hasn't been in them.
Okay. We don't know what Nagelsmann thinks of Thomas Muller, right? I think that's part of this, right? And by the way, I was going to say before we came on the air, death taxes Thomas Muller. Like, those are that for Germany, right? No, but they have a talent. They do have talent all over the place. I think their center back pairing is not.
It's been a long time since Germany has been in a reclamation phase, you know, like to total like overhaul. Like, there's something going on with that team. But remember, we're only 8 years removed from the team that embarrassed Brazil in Brazil.
Remember after the 2002 World Cup when they beat us in that quarterfinal with Torsten Frings in the handball. Torsten freaking Frings. They were getting ready for 2006. And they were like, oh, we're not in a good place. Like, they went into the quarterfinals of the World Cup or the semifinal of the World Cup, but they still were like, we're not in a good place. And they did the whole DOS reboot thing, right? Remember, Klinsmann took over for 2006 with Yogi Love as his assistant. Yeah. They made a run with a young... They
Euros
basically
first, I think.
Flushed the whole roster going into 2006 and made a run on home soil that got everybody's attention. And then they were really good. 2010,
Powerhouse.
2014, as you mentioned, winning the World Cup. And now it's like...
The Schweinsteiger, Lahm, there was a generation that was amazing, and they still have quality players, but just for some reason it looks like a crisis of confidence or something. But it's an interesting test for the U.S. either way. It's kind of hard because with Germany underperforming so massively at the World Cup, you do wonder, is this the same test as it would have been if the Brazil and Argentina games had come across and those fixtures would have been around a couple months ago instead of having to go into qualifying? It's amazing slate of games. You would have thought that the U.S. Federation had Brazil, Argentina, Germany, and Ghana all set up. Yeah. You know, and that's a fantastic run of games. But unfortunately, with the first two changing, Germany is not quite the draw it once was, but it'll still be fun to watch. It's
going to be, and after this, and after Ghana on Tuesday, it's going to be minnows until the Copa America tournament, right? Because you got
that's Nations League for you though, too. Though.
Minnows, I mean, the expectation would be that you probably get a game against Mexico and somebody else, maybe Canada, although right now, who knows about Canada?
This is one of the problems with Nations League for host teams, World Cup host teams. Like, you can't get the friendlies you used to be able to get in between places. And with Nations League, you're going to be playing your own region.
Teams. Even if the United States was having to qualify for the World Cup in 2026, this would still be the time when you play these friendlies and you would get a bunch of them in.
But you're also not going to go through the octagonal, which is another kind of gauntlet that you can put your team through to test them.
Right. There's not going to be that as well. Happen. Right.
So the Copa America lies huge in the wings right now. So it's going to be a fantastic test for them. The only real test over the next 3 years.
Can I have half ice cream trucks, or do I have to have a whole ice cream truck? Like you can't give half ice cream
truck. Is that like when you get like the lime salt and you get from those? What was your favorite? What was your favorite thing to get from the ice cream truck?
It's like one of those little carts. It's like a little cart instead of
the palateros.
Yeah, sure, whatever you just said. I think I was always, man, I don't know. Bomb Pop is just the thing that comes to mind. I was never a chocolate guy. I was never an ice cream guy. I was always the popsicle kind of guy.
I was always more of the sandwich. Like I like an It's It. You ever had an It's It?
No, I did. I do
remember
oatmeal
chocolate chip, oatmeal cookie like sandwich covered in chocolate.
No, I don't.
And then it's also the UFO, which is the chocolate chip version of that.
I don't think I had that. No, I think I was like buying like Bomb Pops and like the ones that would have like a piece of gum, like a ball, like a gum ball in there somehow.
Like SpongeBob's eyes.
Something, yeah, but it was
Spider-Man.
I came up before SpongeBob, my guy, so I can't talk about. But it was like
Spider-Man.
a frog or something, and there was like an eye or something. I don't know, whatever that was. Panda bear, I don't know, whatever it was.
In junior high? Did you go through the crisis where everyone told you were going to get LSD from the ice cream man? That was a big thing in California. There was like
I don't think that one.
They're gonna slip you LSD when you buy stuff there. Like
no, but
people are giving out free drugs.
But this time of year, this is absolutely the time when all the panic stories about Halloween candy would come out, and it's like they're putting weed in your Halloween razor blades.
And
in your
who's
Halloween
giving away
candy.
free weed?
Who's putting razor blade? Who has the time to put for some random kid? They won't even see it happen. Like what? Who does that? Nobody does that. That's not happening. Your kids are probably fine. I mean, check your candy if you want, but don't take it to like get X-rayed. That's a bunch of nonsense. They're selling you on something there.
All right, let's talk roster. So first thing in the roster, we have Malik Tillman not able to go. So backfilled with Alex Zendejas, which I like. I know there's some people out there that are like, I don't know, but he's very, very hot in Mexico. He's been hot in Mexico.
No. He's a good player at the club level, and I think he has potential as a national team player. I just don't know if we need him, right?
I don't think you move on from him at this point.
Okay, then let's. And I think in this setup, he absolutely is.
Was there a better winger to bring than him? I guess the question is whether there should have been a winger for Malik Tillman. That's one of the things. But isn't he the next man up in terms of wingers?
Malik Tillman is more of a 10/8 than he is a winger, right? So
Booth is with the Olympics. So was that ever going to change? I don't know if they would have brought him in for this if
he just came off of an injury. Yeah. So I think that was probably part of the calculation there. Played only about 30-something minutes for the U.S. in that game against Mexico last night in Phoenix. So I think that's probably part of that.
That finished 2-0?
2-1. Mexico scored late, not in time, but the U.S. was already up 2-0 at the time.
Yeah. So I get the call up. I mean, it's probably the most offensive player you could bring in at this point that's not injured or it's available. I'm not mad at that. I mean, you could bring Kermansky or something. Like I don't know who you're going to bring.
Well, you would be bringing a young player, right?
Yeah.
Cade Cowell. I mean,
Maybe,
I don't need to see him right now.
I would rather have Zendejas than Cowell right now.
You could talk about. We all decided that we're moving on from Jordan Morris, and it certainly looks like he's not in the picture at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. I mean, that whole generation it's time to move on from.
Jesus is a center forward, so you're not bringing him when you've already got Pepe and Balogun.
Man, how much has he fallen off lately?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Paul Arriola's international career is probably over. I'm looking at guys who had been called up in the last 12 months or so. The rest of these guys are either projects, center forwards, or just not good enough. Gold Cup level players. I mean,
and the other player not here wasn't scratched, but Anthony Robinson got called up here. I guess the lingering issue, but it sounds like he's with the team though. He's in Nashville.
I did not see that.
Maybe they just released. I don't know. They just released that Truly Teammates thing 6 hours ago that has him and Chris Richards interviewing each other. Okay. So I don't know if they did that at camp or maybe that was from a while back.
Did they not release the roster? Say Jedi and Berhalter described this, and I definitely cringed. He described it as like a pre-sports hernia, like he's got the condition that leads to a sports hernia. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I get it. Then he played for Fulham on the weekend, right? Yeah, he played in that game for Fulham on the weekend. So, look, if it's better for him to stay in London, if it's better for him to stay in London and just not stress it, and the flight, maybe it's the flight, like maybe it's the altitude and the pressure that could definitely be a
spread.
Is that how hernias work?
Sure, there's less pressure up there, man. It's going to push right out.
That's right. It doesn't have as much pushing it back.
It's crowning on a flight.
Yeah. So messed up. Don't say shit like that, man. I can't.
He's dialing.
Damn, dog.
in
That's
first class.
inappropriate.
So let's start there with the lineup. What do you see? What do you see?
Wait,
the US
wait.
do? Obviously,
I want to go through the roster because you and I haven't had a chance to talk about it. So I'm just gonna name. I want to name the roster. Just put it in the record so everybody knows what we're working with here. I know we got the knowledgeable fan base. All the people watching this already know who's there. But I do think that it's worth kind of, because we didn't get to do a roster review, I do think it's worth kind of, noting the guys that are either back in, that are maybe still new to the group, bubbly kind of guys. Do you know what I'm talking about here? Yeah, bubbly guys. Okay. Obviously, only two goalkeepers. Both of them play for the same club, Matt Turner, Ethan Horvath. Okay, fine, whatever. What's awkward about that?
Awkward that they both play for the same.
Well, I mean, Ethan Horvath not being on the Premier League roster for Nottingham Forest is a bummer. I mean, that is a massive bummer, and he's going to have to get a loan in January.
How do you get a team promoted and then be third string keeper someplace else?
Yeah,
how does that happen?
I don't know. Defenders: Tim Ream back in after his injury kept him out in September. Right, he wasn't there in September.
He was not. He had the arm, the broken wrist or arm or whatever it was.
That was still coming back from that in September.
Yeah,
Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. So Tim Ream, Serginho Dest, Miles Robinson, Chris Richards, Cameron Ka'ave'ez. And Morgan is here. I saw her. She's over there in the chat, ready for our incredible accent.
It's still ridiculous that she didn't name her dog that.
I know. Could have named CCV at least.
CCV.
Yeah. Okay, CCV is back. I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he's.
By the way,
over his
CCV
injury.
sounds like a STD. I caught the CCV.
It kind of does. It kind of does. You could walk into a clinic.
Case of the CCV.
I think I got CCV. That's like a public service announcement. Like, what would that ad be like? It's like,
Have you ever suffered from the effects of CCV? Now they're secure. It's called USMNT.
CCV is running wild through your community. DeJuan Jones, which is interesting because I guess this is the Jedi effect, right? If not for Jedi being out, DeJuan Jones probably isn't here as much as I do like him.
Yeah.
Joe Scally, who had a nice goal right before he came into camp. It was kind of a looping far corner kind of deal.
Well hit.
Christopher Lund. Which, by the way, if I ever named it my kid Christopher, and I'm not going to have another kid, and I'm not going to name him Christopher.
You go with a K?
I go with this name. This is a good.
What do you think of the double F instead of the PH?
It does it makes me want to say Christopher instead.
Yeah,
of
it's like you're always making an offer.
Christopher Lund, and then in the midfield, Weston Eunice, Luca Johnny Cardoso in the team. Which he was in this group before the Malik Tillman thing.
Yeah.
No Tyler Adams.
Nope.
So this is why he's there, right? Leonard Maloney. I'm going to get to the big one in a second, but Leonard Maloney. This is the 24-year-old at Heidenheim, dual national, eligible for Germany and the United States, but obviously he's not going to play for Germany. So he's been angling.
Bundesliga this year.
They've been running a campaign over there at Bundesliga.com, and Leonard Maloney has been out basically waving a flag on the freeway. Oh, I'm knocking up.
Wow, which one of us is the unprofessional one now?
I picked it up. It's fine. I talk with my hands. It's a problem. He's waving a flag, and now he's in the team. And then Gio's here. I've seen him. It looks like he's enjoying himself. He's smiling all over the training pitch.
Nothing but pictures of him smiling. And who controls that narrative?
Obviously, that's a thing. But he's smiling. It's not like he's only frowning, because he would never get a picture of him smiling if he was only frowning. I definitely think it's hilarious.
Someone brought out cupcakes, make him smile, and then take a picture.
Jared, what do you think? Is it a cowardly move, or is it understandable and pragmatic that they
go with cowardly, not even knowing the setup?
That they sent BJ out to talk to the media the first day of camp?
Oh, that's super cowardly.
You think it's a coward's move?
Oh, it's a human shield.
But BJ's okay with it, right? Because he's got experience doing this a little bit after the Nations League.
Sure, but okay, do me a favor. Can you remember another time where the assistant coach came out for the first press conference of the window?
No, not specifically, but I know coaches have sent their assistants out before when things are dicey.
What was Halter too busy doing in that moment that he couldn't come to that press conference?
He was reading about leadership, Jared. He had to read up on the latest.
No, Jason,
leadership.
He was living it.
He was living leadership.
Yes.
You don't.
I like to think that he and Gio were having tea.
You read it.
Calm down, Greg. It's soccer. It's soccer.
Like high tea, like English high tea or something.
Sure. Yeah. Well, they're in Nashville. It's probably sweet tea. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? Like, there's got to be. So, do you just like have them sit down? Is it a room with nobody else? I mean, is doing an interrogation situation? Is this like? Is there? He was talking about
Wait, hold on.
mediators.
Hartford's first, Nashville's second, right?
Hartford's first, yeah.
Oh, by the way, represent my man Herx up there
yeah.
behind us. Got the Hartford scarf up there just for this window.
I can put this out here too. I mean, I'm
Shout
not
out-
wearing it. I'm not
Our
wearing
man
it.
David Herx works for Hartford, and I know he's going to be doing maybe a little bit of Bestie meetup as well. That guy's the most popular dude in Bestie land right now because he's hosting a lot of people.
I mean, I don't
out
know.
there, so shout out
Is
to
he?
him.
Has he been sending people beer?
Freddie.
Because my man Freddie's been sending us beer. Like, I haven't popped this one open
That
yet.
is such a. You know what? What age do you not realize what that font means? Like that's a very specific font. Do you get it?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay.
I think probably. I think if you're.
Do you think Morgan? Margaret's in the chat right now?
Yeah, let's ask Morgan.
She just turned 25. Happy birthday, Morgan, as well.
Morgan,
do you know what that font is from?
Do you know what
Let's see
reference?
she
What's the
says.
reference is?
Because it's instant for guys of our age, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I think for any American of a certain age, right?
Yeah, she's probably dealing with Benny right now. I don't know. She didn't answer, but I'm
Okay.
guessing 25. They don't know what that font is.
She ran away because we said Kamikaze. That's
I know,
why
she
ran
gives her the
away.
creeps.
Yeah.
All right, lineup.
All right. So you want? Okay. Well, let me get to the forwards because I haven't done that
Jesus.
yet. Christian Pulisic,
Long-winded much?
Brendan Aronson, Timothy Weah, Ricardo Pepi, Alex Zendejas, Valerian Balogun, and Kevin Paredes listed as a forward, which, first of all, he's
he could be
in the
anywhere.
team, which is like, whoa, Kevin Paredes is in this team.
In a couple of minutes when they looked terrible last window, that dude made something happen.
Yeah, 20 years old. So, okay. So now line.
What do you think? Winger
Now,
or midfield or right? I mean, he can play anywhere along the channel on both sides, really.
he's like our this is going to sound bad, and I don't mean, I'm sorry, Kevin. I like you as a player. I think you're going to be a great one. You're only 20 years old, but he's like a target version of Alphonso Davies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Why would that be something to apologize for?
no, I'm just saying he's not Alphonso Davies, right? And Target, not everybody loves Target. I could have said Walmart. Is it worse if I said Walmart?
I didn't get when you said Target. I thought you meant like a Target striker or something like that. I didn't get that there was a brand name that you were saying.
No, I'm saying like he's
Listen,
he's
you
like
didn't say Walmart.
he's like a home goods buy.
You didn't say
instead
Dollar
of a-
General. You gave him the highest level you could for retail stores.
You didn't pick up this player at Williams Sonoma. You got it at Home Goods. Like,
Ooh.
it's
By the
still.
way, have you gone to a Williams Sonoma lately?
I don't want to.
shocking. It
What
is
do you mean
shocking
shocking?
the price that you have to pay for things.
That's why I don't go to
But I
Williams
want
Sonoma.
all of it. I want all of it.
Are you a sur la table guy? Are you a sur la table?
I don't even know where those are around here. I'm
You don't
not
have
sure, but I'm
sur la
sure I
table?
am. I'm sure
Okay.
I am. I don't think my wallet is, but I'm
It's
sure
like
I am.
a more French version of Williams Sonoma, I think, is what we got there. Sam's choice.
Hey,
Is it
happy to have
Kirkland
Kevin
brand?
Paredes.
Is Kevin-
Happy to have Kevin Paredes. here.
Kirkland brand, Alphonso Davies, Kevin Paredes. So
Oh,
there
that's
it is, right
not
there.
fair at all.
What? It's just the name. It's just a name brand product with Kirkland
But
slapped on
Come
it.
on, dude. No one buys the Kirkland stuff, and if you do,
People buy Kirkland stuff every
they
day
don't
in
buy
this
it because they
country.
want to. They buy it because they have to.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I think I need to ask Nicholas Soup and Sausage, who is back, by the way, which is why I'm going to bring him on in the program. Let's.
I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
All right, let's bring him in.
Who's been out of the team longer, Gio or Nick?
Who's fitter? Who's fitter right now, Gio or Nick?
Geo
Nick, was the last time you bought something Kirkland brand?
last week.
That's what I thought.
Food or apparel?
I've never bought apparel at Costco.
So Farrell's.
You've never
yeah.
bought clothes at
Food is-
Costco?
Costco, Kirkland food is fine. I'm talking about apparel.
Oh,
You
no,
think
I've
that-
never done that.
You think all Kirkland brand gear is bad?
No, I don't.
No.
But I think no one wants to rock it.
Well, you're in the. I'm wearing a plain black T-shirt. I'm not in the business of wearing the name brand of my clothes on my chest anymore, or my pants, or I guess I don't know. Get Jordache across your butt.
I can tell you, I've never even strolled through the apparel section of my Costco.
Really?
I
Okay.
bypass it and go right back to the water.
I think a couple times I've bought the kids like a sweater or jacket or something like that.
Okay.
Like, but that's the best I
I'm
can
not.
do.
I'm not too proud to say that Mr. Tiago rocks a crap
There-
ton of Kirkland gear.
There
okay?
is two things of their
It might not be
peanut
Kirkland.
butter and chocolate trail mix in my kitchen right now, though.
I
For me, it's
literally
Vita
think-
Rain water.
Can't remember last. Okay, maybe I can't. Maybe I can't think of specifically what I bought recently that's Kirkland, but I'm sure I have. I'm sure I bought something Kirkland. There it is. Oh, Coke.
What did
water.
50 Cent think about the fact you
I
didn't
mean,
buy his brand?
actually, no, that's not even true. Look, bottle of water. That's what you buy. You buy the water.
That's fair.
Okay.
And
Kirkland,
what food do you stop at with Kirkland? Like, do you buy Kirkland shrimp? Like if it had Kirkland on the name of it.
I don't think that's how that works.
I buy shrimp at Costco, but if
Yeah,
it said
but I don't
Kirkland
think-
and there's one that didn't say Kirkland, are you buying the Kirkland shrimp?
You know what? We buy these sliced ham packs that come like 2 packs of sliced ham, and lots of ham getting eaten in my house. Kirkland brand. Those
Done that.
things. Yeah. Yeah.
Nicky, nice to have you back, buddy. We're gonna talk about
Thank you.
Cincinnati later.
All right, good.
Yeah, let's go.
I don't
okay.
know why, but
Somebody was posting about Skyline or some Cincinnati chili in the Bestie Slack today, and I had to get my jokes in. So maybe we'll talk about that too. All right, go ahead, Jared. Tell me what you think this lineup should look like.
I mean, if the keeper position picks itself. You got Matt Turner back there. That's not going to be. I'd be surprised if you saw Ethan Horvath outside of an injury situation. So Matt Turner at that position.
180 minutes for Matt Turner. Let's go.
Yeah, I think the center backs pick themselves a bit as well. I think you're going to see Chris Richards and Tim Ream there. There's a chance maybe you see CCV for one of the 2 games, but
I'm breaking in with this important news. Clayton says, apparently the Kirkland Scotch is halfway decent. Now, I live in a state where I cannot buy liquor at my Costco.
You
But I have
can't.
been. We
You
don't.
live
we
in
have
Canada?
We have liquor stores.
Utah?
We have baby stores. We can't buy liquor except at.
That is the
state-run
most
stores.
un-American thing ever.
I don't know what to tell you. It's just how we do it here in Virginia.
Move.
I
Come join
move?
me
Join you where? In
in the
earthquake
land
land?
of burritos and sunshine.
in earthquake and flood land? That's where I should join you. Okay. Anyway, I've tried it though because they can get it in Puerto Rico, and I've tried it. And he's right. It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
And then for center back, I think it's gonna be Chris Richards and Tim Ream. That's my pick. Do you feel any different about that lineup?
No, I think that's probably going to be the starting lineup against starting pairing
What's the
against
first man off
Germany.
the bench at that position? Miles Robinson or CCV?
I think I want to see CCV. I think he's probably ahead of Miles in the general pecking order. So probably CCV for
I'm
for
assuming
Richards.
he's starting for Celtic. I haven't been paying attention.
Oh
to
yeah.
Scottish
When he's
League,
healthy, he's a locked-on starter. He just came back for their Champions League game.
Yeah,
He was
I
on
knew
the
he was
bench.
fantastic last season for them. But I knew he was coming back from injury over the summer, so I wasn't sure what is.
Yeah, but that was actually he started the season and then got hurt, and then came back. So it is about fitness maybe for CCV, but I could see a half of Chris Richards and a half of CCV.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to between those 2 guys, Miles Robinson and CCV, if the game needs more possession, and something like that, you're gonna bring Miles Robinson in. If the game is Germany's just crossing balls in, they're under attack, and I think you bring in someone like CCV, it's gonna be more physical when balls in the air. It's a peanut butter and jelly kind of scenario there.
Sure. There's not another left-footed center back besides Tim Ream, correct? Is
That never
correct?
bothers me. I don't believe so.
I know
No,
you're not. I know you're not concerned about that, but look, we're talking about body shape. We're talking about how you play the ball. You're more likely to play a short pass and leave your teammate in trouble and maybe give up an opportunity
At this
if you're playing
level,
across your body.
if you can't pass
no, I understand
20
that.
yards with your left foot,
I
there's a
understand
problem.
that. I understand that. It's also you've already talked about this, trying to teach your kid how to defend, and sort of your inclination is to play to your strength, right? To your right foot if you're right-footed, your left foot if you're left-footed. That's why you do this, right? That's why Jurgen Klinsmann was so intentful about his center backs. Just something to consider.
Yeah, I think when we get to the fullbacks, this is where the question mark is. Obviously, I think it'll be Serginho Dest on the right. I assume it'll be Serginho Dest on the right. But you have this whole left back that has been filled for years and well filled in Anthony Robinson. So the question becomes, we saw Christopher Lund get 2 caps earlier in the last window.
It might be Christopher Lund. It might be Chris
You
Christopherson.
could see. I mean, let's be honest.
Chris Christopherson. What's his name? Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris Christopher Lund. Yes, go ahead. Sorry, it might be him.
Thank God we paused for that.
I know. I'm sorry. That was important. Okay.
But here's the thing.
Make your argument.
In Joe Scally and Serginho Dest, you have 2 right backs that play significant minutes at left back over the years for their clubs. So the question is, do you want to go with a more known quantity and play someone maybe slightly out of position, or do you go with Christopher Lund, who's had limited experience with the national team when it comes to Germany?
Well, unlike your freewheeling attitude about center backs and their stronger foot, Jared, it's very, very modern of you, completely against traditional values. I don't know how certain parts of America would view that. I think you've got to play. I would prefer a left-footed player being on the left side as a fullback.
But let me make one point for you.
By the way, hold on. I also have to throw in here that Kevin Paredes is lingering in this conversation somehow, some way. He's out there, right? I'm just saying. Go ahead.
So let me throw one thing out there for you that might change your mind. Remind me, where does Joe Scally play his club football?
He plays, let me check this. He plays in Germany at Borussia Mönchengladbach.
So perhaps there's a familiarity and he won't be shocked or overwhelmed by the level step up, and playing against someone like a Germany. And maybe you give Lund the opportunity in the next game against Ghana.
Yeah. You do have 2 games. You do have what is nominally the better team the first game. I mean, we're higher ranked than Germany. I don't know how that's possible, but we know that's a tougher, in terms of talent, we know how that's a tougher challenge. And then Ghana. Yeah, I don't have a problem splitting the responsibilities here. I think that you are talking about a very new player to the group, and while Christopher Lund got an opportunity in the last window, that was not, I don't know, the vibes were different because of the opponents.
Yeah. I would like to see. I think I'd like to see Joe Scally get the first game and see Lund get the second game. I think it's worth getting a look at both. I mean, here's the thing. Otherwise, you're potentially looking at a window where you don't get Joe Scally doesn't get a look, and I think the guy's deserving it. Yeah, I think I'd like to see him play. What I'm worried about though is
that's not how it works.
Okay, I mean, I get to make my own decisions. I don't know how you work.
I know you're saying that you think it would be good if he got a look because he deserves it. I think that if you've got 2 guys ahead of him in his preferred position, those 2 guys ahead of him in his preferred position, you don't then say, well, play your second best position because you deserve a shot to be on the field somehow, some way. If you have a better left-footed left back, then you play the better left-footed
I think
left back.
there's pros and cons here. Like I said, I think the pro is he's going to be used to playing against these players. He's seen a lot of them play, and he's not going to be overwhelmed by the
I think it's a reasonable shout. The
downside of that is the person playing in front of him is Christian Pulisic, also a right-footed player on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
So if a player like that who wants to play inverted, the reason he wants to play inverted is because he wants to cut inside. In playing a right-footed player behind him, you don't get the same opportunity to run the channel and serve the ball as consistently. The right-footed player often wants to cut back, which gives an extra couple of seconds for the defense to set. You're not going to play as many first-time left-footed balls on the outside when Christian opens that channel. So
it's a very different.
Offensively, I think there's something you're giving up there.
It's a very different vibe than Jedi Robinson provides, and I think that while you should never be so dependent on one player at a position that you can't adjust, right? So the idea, what I'm saying is, like, if Jedi Robinson plays left back a certain way, you don't just try to approximate Jedi Robinson when he's not there and only do that. You should have other ways of playing, other modes, and maybe we'll talk about formation in this team because I know you're doing lineup, but it's kind of going to lead us to a midfield setup that could be interesting to talk about. But I do think that if you're trying to kind of get the engines fired up in this cycle against Germany, and you want to put on a good showing, and it'd be really good for your confidence if you win this game, not just kind of play well or whatever, then maybe you do need somebody who's as close to Jedi as you can get, and that would be a naturally left-footed player, even if that player's not nearly as effective as Jedi.
Yeah. So obviously that's one of 2 positions on the field that is going to be the most talked about in terms of lineup choice. The next one's going to be a midfield as we get to there. So for me, I'm going, obviously, I think Yunus Musa and McKennie are chalk, right?
Yes,
neither best are going to say. So the question then becomes, what is the option there? And this is where things get interesting because you have the conversation about what is the true health and fitness of Gio Reyna.
Right.
Because if he's healthy, I think you and I are both like, that dude needs to be there.
So there are lots of factors. You're right. Let's imagine a world. It's just dream. Like
in a world.
The shows where it goes, the harp plays, whatever. Gio Reyna's 100% fit. He can go 90 minutes. Yeah, there you go. That's Wayne's World. That's definitely an old reference. We got Purple Rain and Wayne's World on this show, and I'm knocking stuff over all over the place. Let's imagine a world in which Gio Reyna's 100% fit and can play 90 minutes in this game.
Yep.
Against Germany, right? I know it's not Germany. It's down Germany. It's like,
Hey, there's a good chance Turcik might be watching.
Well, okay, that's maybe one reason to throw him in there. But do you like your balance in midfield better? I mean, nominally you're playing with a double pivot, even though I'm not sure that's exactly how it would work out. But do you like your balance in midfield better with a double pivot and Gio ahead
I think
against Germany?
I think we should. I will recognize and admit that I feel that if Gio Reyna is in that starting midfield three, the resulting effect is a double pivot of Yunus Musa and Weston McKennie.
Yes,
I don't think it. I don't think it's
Has
going to
to
be
be.
maybe as necessarily hardcore like bucket kind of thing like you saw with Bradley and Jones back in the day. You know,
No,
but
it's
it's
going
going to be far more dynamic than that.
It's going to be the seesaw, right? It's going to be
Yeah.
what Klinsmann was trying to do with Jones and Bradley. That didn't.
But for
actually
me,
work.
it comes down to what does Berhalter want the mentality of this team to be against Germany? Because if you want to be pragmatic, then Gio's not the choice. But when you think about how Balogun looked unused and underutilized in the last window, I think it's because he didn't have a midfielder playing close
Yeah.
enough to him
Yeah.
that could slot him into positions.
Which is what in Berhalter after I think it was the Uzbekistan game, he made comments to that effect. Like, we have to figure out a way to take advantage of what Feller and Balogun does. Now, I know there are lots of people, the anti-Greg brigade, who are, yelling, like, we've told you, like, it's obvious, just play Gio there. Why are you talking like this is some uncrackable code? Obviously, Gio wasn't fit the last time, so he didn't have that option, right? So if Balogun, who apparently was frustrated and came off the field all pissed off, and we talked about that when we were doing shows after those games, if he needs a Gio, then play a Gio, right? Now, let's see. Now, I also think that there's something to be said for the possession or the ability to maintain possession, control the ball through the midfield with a certain group. And we all agree that while Tyler Adams is an incredible destroyer, an incredible ground coverer, an incredible tackler, incredible defensively, I mean, it feels like the dude could guard Michael Jordan, how good he is with that, right?
He's the Pippen of our team.
He is not a ball progressor. He is not a passer. He is not a distributor, right? He is functional.
It's not to say he can't, but it's not what he does best.
He's not. He's functional, which is fine. Like, I would rather have somebody who's safe and functional, but also does the things that Tyler Adams does,
Safe dick,
than have somebody who takes risks and gives the ball away all over the place. But with this lineup, without Tyler Adams, and it makes the choices made for him. This is very similar to last time, right? Where or the Nations League, when the way that the team played under BJ was impacted by the lack of Tyler Adams, and we kind of missed that. As the reason why Gio ended up in the starting lineup is because you didn't really have any other choice, and it kind of works out for Greg here too. If Gio is 100% or if Gio's fit, I'm throwing that out there as a variable that we are taking for granted, because if you want the ball, if you want to slow Germany down through the midfield, it'd be nice to have a couple of players there. Now, I don't think Weston's the best ball secure player on the planet. I think he actually makes
but he's actually
mistakes.
good defensively, though.
He's good defensively. I think he does good with. I think he's smart with his passing. Right. I think he understands some of the angles that are necessary to play in that area. And we know that Yunus Musa can take the ball from his own box and drive it to the opponent's box. He can do those things.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that element of it, which, and again, if you have Weston and you have Yunus, even if neither of them are an out-and-out defensive midfielder, you have some freedom for Gio.
By playing two of them, the two of them don't have to be doing it simultaneously all the time. They can take turns, but that's also where the miscommunication could be. Where they both make the run instead of one of them making the run. Now you're left exposed.
But there are other ways to handle that, right? Like, I'm not saying that Greg Berhalter should do this because we saw him try it with Tyler a long time ago. But you flex your right back into midfield when you're in possession. Things like that, right? You do things to cover those spaces, because if the ball comes the other way, well, now you're having to reset your shape. But if you get caught out of midfield, you've got three midfielders pushed up high and nobody cover that space. Yeah, it's a disaster.
So I think I think the fun squad is the McKennie, Musa, and Gio lineup. I don't know if that's truly what's going to happen or not.
I don't think so. I think look, everybody in the chat is right. I don't see, after what did he play, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever that was, I don't think there's any way Giovanni Reyna starts in an international friendly against Germany with nothing at stake after having played 20 competitive minutes this season.
Yeah.
I think it would be irresponsible for U.S. Soccer for Greg Berhalter to do that, and I know that Dortmund would be pissed, and I don't think it would help with trying to convince Edin Terzic that he should play.
Honestly, we also don't know. Maybe Dortmund said, like, hey, we would like you to try to get him some minutes because he's not getting the minutes we need to give him here. Maybe they want him to play.
Maybe.
It's a very,
Well,
very
look,
loose situation.
If you wanted to get him low stake minutes, send him to the U23s. Just send him off to the U23s.
Yeah.
He's eligible. He's age eligible, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and the American soccer populace needs to understand that if Gio doesn't play, that might not be Greg's fault, or if he doesn't start, I should say. That might not be Berhalter saying he doesn't like him, that he can appreciate him, and he doesn't know how to use them. It could just be that Gio's not functionally in that place, and Dortmund has made that request of him.
And this is the truth, right? And this is fine, whatever. People won't care. If he doesn't play significant minutes, it will be an indictment against Berhalter. And that's from people who even know better.
Now,
know
Frank,
that he's
Frank
not
in Orange
fit.
County, our boy, he's asking if the phones are up because my man wanted to call in and talk about his wife. But he's saying it's irresponsible.
That's his girl.
Oh,
I don't think our man's locked down yet. I don't think
yeah, you're right. His partner.
Yeah.
That's a phrase that's new to us. Is responsible to bring him in. Is it irresponsible to bring Gio in?
You mean to camp?
Yeah, I don't think so. If he's on the bench for Dortmund, if he's well enough to make the roster there, he's well enough to travel and do this.
If the situation was different. Okay, I don't think the November games are going to be much sweat for the U.S. men's national team, so it's maybe not the right point of a discussion. But let's say you were playing a World Cup qualifier, Jared. If you were playing a World Cup qualifier and you were giving a roster spot to a guy who's 20 minutes fit, I don't know that's a good idea, right? I think you would want Gio around if he's good enough, if he's healthy enough to help you because you know the talent that's there. But if you're giving up a roster spot, a 23-man roster to a guy who can't really play, I think that's irresponsible. In this case, you don't have to play him, but he's in camp. He's obviously fit enough to train. He's fit enough to be available, and then you just manage his minutes. I think Nicholas Murray said maybe 25 minutes or 15 minutes in the game against Germany and 25 against Ghana, and you send him back on his way to
and everybody's
pissed. You say, hey, hopefully he gets more time. So let's go the other way. Right?
I feel like Gio Reyna is like Cameron from Ferris Bueller's dad's Ferrari. It's like it's so nice, but no one ever gets to drive it or take it out. It's just like why can't we drive this?
In this analogy, who is the person kicking Gio Reyna's bumper? I just want to know who that is. Like brother, just kicking the bumper.
He's got a penchant for kicking things, I hear.
Okay. Wow. I don't know about all that.
I'm just reporting what the newspaper said. I don't know.
That is okay. Let's do the other thing, right? The other thing is Gio's not fit enough to start because I don't think he is. I think that's reality. Let's doodly do back to reality.
Yeah.
Who's your midfield if Gio Reyna's not available?
For me, I'm going with Luca De La Torre. I think Luca De La Torre is, and what Luca De La Torre allows, unfortunately, it does something and allows something. Mm-hmm. It forces Yunus Musa to truly play the six. We saw that before. Yunus would probably have to play a lone six. And then what it allows, though, is Weston McKennie to have more freedom and to try to play more advanced play.
Well, in that situation, Weston nominally becomes your 10, but he doesn't play that way.
But at the same time, that is the same midfield three that frustrated Flo Balogun and couldn't get him in positions to be dangerous. So there is something there with that.
Well, it's a different. So I think obviously what we're talking about with Gio is the ability of Giovanni Reyna to pop up in half spaces and 25 yards from goal, pick up the ball. Balogun makes that diagonal run, right? He's on the back shoulder. He makes the run. We saw it with the goal against Canada, right? That's the goal that you want to see Gio Reyna set Balogun up for. It's the goal that Balogun is uniquely suited to scoring. The way that they scored against Uzbekistan and Oman, and those two games run together. I can't remember which is which. Weston McKennie's drifting out wide, and he plays he plays a switch to I think was it Yedlin or Robinson, whatever happened. Weah's out there. I think it was to Weah.
Weston's advanced role also allowed him to be in the box to have that fantastic pull down that he did to play back to Tim Weah.
That's true.
He's not in that position in the lineup that has Gio Reyna.
So you go from sort of a next level creative player, which is what Gio is, and maybe there's no other approximation for him in the player pool. By the way, he is a unicorn in this group.
Probably the closest, but yeah, not close.
To three very functional players. Now, I think of the three, Weston is the most likely to pull off the move that ends up in a goal, like whether that's the pass or getting on the end of something himself. Yunus is the most dynamic from box to box. He's not the finisher. He doesn't even make the greatest pass when he gets to the ball to the 18-yard box.
But he gets it there with style and quickness.
Oh, no, I love watching him get the ball to the final third. I just don't know he does the right thing when he gets there. And he's looked great for AC Milan. Let's make sure that's clear. And then you have Luka, who is a metronome player, right? He's a rhythm player. He's not going to do anything dramatically exciting, but he's going to be
he is a
functional.
Kirkland Pirlo. Like that's honestly what he is. He just moves the ball. He moves the ball. I mean, actually, I'm sorry, Kirkland Javi, not Pirlo.
Okay,
Kirkland
I was
Javi.
going to say Pirlo had those long balls in his weapon.
I say different. Kirkland Javi.
I think Michael Bradley was the Kirkland Pirlo at one point in his career. I think that might be.
He tried to play everything long over the top.
Yeah, lots of that. All right, so you've already. I think I'm with you. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Leonard Maloney get some time, but I don't think it's going to be as a starter. So
yeah, maybe in the Ghana game, I can see that, or as a relief later in the game. What I do like too about the Geo3 is by having Yunus Musa and Weston McKennie playing behind, you could pair them up where Musa plays on the left side of that double pivot, and Weston plays on the right, and then they are playing with their club teammate on both of those sides. Musa would be combining with Pulisic, Wes McKennie combining with Tim Weah. There's a familiarity there that I think would be interesting.
Okay, I mean, I don't know that they're okay. That's a good point. I guess that if you're gonna kind of try to work out what this midfield looks like, and again, it worked against Mexico and Canada, but it hasn't really been tested at this level. Then maybe you are sort of asking these guys split the field in half and play this way. So let's move to the forward line because I think this picks itself. I think this is simple.
Yeah, you could make a very, very good case for Pepe over Balogun. You can. Like Pepe has goals in less minutes. Like he's more effective in less minutes.
You're talking about his club form. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm talking about the national team.
Oh, national team. Well, yeah, but you can't disconnect that from the fact that he's been on in relief at a time when maybe things have changed in the game and allowed him
I could even make the case. I feel like I could argue the case that if you play Luca De La Torre instead of Gio Reyna, that Pepe is the better striker to start because the game is going to push wider. The game is going to push wider if you don't have Gio Reyna and they're playing right underneath that number 9.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think that Pepe is potentially the more dangerous one if you're going to play wide to the inside.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I think so many of his goals for the United States have come.
That being said, I'm picking
wide
Balogun.
play.
I'm picking
No,
Balogun.
I think
sun's out, Balogun's out.
Look, I'm on the record. I'm on the record as saying that.
Okay, assholes. Sun's out, guns out.
I'm on the record as saying that I think that in the next, I don't know if I said 2 or 3 years. I can give myself a little extra buffer by saying 3. But within the next couple of years, Ricardo Pepi is going to score 20 goals in a top 5 league in Europe. I really think that's going to happen.
I think Balogun will do it first, but Pepi will do it as well.
Well, he's already done it. Balogun's already done it. So
a lot of PKs in there. I'm just saying a lot of Pepi.
In the Rance goals last year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what he does with he's already missed 2 PKs and scored 3 gols for Monaco. So whatever. He's obviously capable.
5 right now and missed the first games.
I know. I think Pepi is incredibly talented, and if he's in a good situation. Now, the problem, and we talked about this, is that he's stuck behind Luke de Jong and PSV, and still producing in the minutes he gets, very similar to the U.S. national team, to be honest with you. When he gets limited minutes and he performs well, but he's not breaking into the lineup because there's a player in front of him that seems to be the more favored striker. And look, I mean, we are 2 days out from Germany, so we're talking about that game. But do you agree with this idea? Splitting the starts, give Balogun Germany and Pepi Ghana.
Give credit to the podcast listeners, please. That's from NATO Sticker in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Nate. What up, Nate?
Didn't you learn in college to cite
Nate the Great? Yes, I know. No, not really. No.
I get for me. I don't care if Balogun gets both starts. To be honest with you, he needs to adapt and get into this team. But like I said,
but
for me, it's more about whether or not Gio Reyna is playing underneath.
And I know that I'm not necessarily on the board on the train of what's fair. I mean, we talked about this with Scally already, but I don't like. I know Balogun only played a half in both games last time around because he hadn't got his move yet and he didn't have a preseason. I'd like to see, especially against Germany, and who knows what Nagelsmann will do with his substitutions. I would like to see Balogun get at least 60, 65 minutes.
Agreed.
And then you bring in Pepi. And if you want to give Pepi the start against Ghana, we'll do it the other way around. 65 minutes for Pepi and then bring in Balogun. I don't like
Now, that being said, if Balogun puts up 2 goals against Germany, you don't do that at all. You play him again the next game. But if he's continuing to struggle to find service.
You say that. You say that, but that's absolutely not what Greg Berhalter is going to do. There's no way. Greg Berhalter is 100%.
Calm down, Greg. It's soccer. It's soccer.
I got a plan for these 2 games. I'm following my plan. And because there's no stakes and he doesn't have to respond to, are we going to win this one and get points? And he's just going to do what he's already – they've already got this laid out. This is written down somewhere. They got a PowerPoint on how they're going to do
okay, before we leave the U.S. national team and talk about a couple of those small things after this, I want to play a quick small game with you. So close your roster. Actually, you can keep it up as long as does your roster have caps? If it does, close it.
Okay, closing my roster. My roster is closed.
All right. My question to you on this roster.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you know there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players with over 30 caps. Okay. Can you name those 6 players?
6 players with over 30 caps.
So first of all, do you think you can do it? Do you think you can do it without getting one wrong? What's your over under? How many guesses do you think you need to get all 6?
Over under. I'll say 7 guesses. 7 guesses to get 6 players.
Name that cap.
Christian Pulisic.
Ding.
Weston McKennie.
Ding.
30 caps. Let's see. Tim Ream.
Ding.
That's 3. Let's see. I think
those are the chalk.
Yeah, those are Serginho Dest. He's got more than 30.
Serginho Dest is a blank. 28.
You serious?
That's your one miss. You got 3 to name.
Too short.
Too short. Dropped off at Kaiser.
Man, I gotta think about this for a second. Okay, hold on. Does Eunice have?
I'll let you know.
Already?
There's one other player out there with 29. So there is another pitfall.
This is what. So I'm nervous about Matt Turner
and a player at 27.
I'm nervous about Matt Turner.
Yeah.
Pepe. There's no chance Pepe's close. Tim Weah. Tim Weah's got 30.
Tim Weah has 33. Okay. Just over the cut.
So I got 4. Am I 4 in
4.
already?
You got 2 left to guess with no wrong guesses allowed.
2 left. Man. Okay. Pondering here. I got to think about this midfield group. I don't have the roster in front of me, so this is awful. Like, who's there?
Did your roster have caps? If it doesn't have caps,
it did.
I don't
No,
mind.
It did. That's why I closed it.
Would you like me to name players that you haven't done yet, or something like that? Or
do you think that's cheating, or should I?
No, I don't. I'm just gonna give you. I'm gonna read off the whole roster right now. Okay.
Okay.
Ethan Horvath, Matt Turner, CCV. I'm gonna leave off Desk. You said that. DJ Jones, Christopher Lund, Kevin Paredes, Tim Ream, Chris Richards, Miles Robinson, Joe Scally, Johnny Cardoso, Luca De La Torre, Leonard Maloney, Weston McKennie, Yunus Musa, Gio Reyna, Brendan Aronson, Flo Balogun, Ricardo Pepe, Christian Pulisic, Tim Weah, Alex Dendejas, and there's 2 left.
I'm gonna say Eunice. I know he's like 20 years old, but I'm gonna say Eunice.
Eunice has 29.
You bastard! So I'm already done. I'm busted.
All right, the last two are Matt Turner. So you were on the right track with that one. The other one's one we didn't talk about at all. 33 for
33 for Matt. Okay.
And the last one, sleeper.
Yeah.
Brendan Aronson, 34.
I missed Brendan Aronson.
And Miles Robinson shot out at 27. Very close. A lot of guys right around that mark. But Brendan Aronson is a sneaky 34.
Is that a more like? What do you think is like? You're no longer just a guy who played for the national team.
I think it's 20. I think it's 20 when I think 20 when you're accepted as a veteran on the team. I don't know if you're in any kind of halls or like of honor or anything like that, but
okay. Well, let me. I want to look this up. So you don't
for example, Ricardo Pepe, 18. Don't you think he's a veteran of this team at this point?
Yeah, I guess.
Qualifying.
I guess well, so historically, I'm going to tell you.
Gio's on 20.
So I see that. I know you're looking at the current roster.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you some other names right around that number. And you tell me how you feel. And I'm going to do modern names. I'm not going to do guys who played like in the 80s because
I think it's funny to go 2000s for sure, like the early 2000s.
So Richie Williams ended with 20 caps.
Nah, man.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
he's not a national teamer in your head. He's not.
No. I mean, I would have definitely said, yeah, Richie Williams has games. But
here's another one. Very Richie Williams like Will Trapp. Is he a national teamer in your head?
Here's the difference, though, in what we're talking about. We're
Okay.
talking about 21 and 22-year-old players on 20 caps, and we're
No, I
talking about
know.
guys that are ended their careers with 20 caps.
Okay, so you're saying that it's the number of caps relative to age that makes them
Relative to
feel like
age.
this.
I think
But
so.
I
Yeah.
guess I'm
and with
asking
this
a
team,
different
that's the way it
question.
has to be because they have so many players at such
Yeah.
young ages.
Well, I guess what I'm asking more than are these guys?
I think
veterans?
to think of a guy as a national team caliber player at the end of their career, they need to be
Yes.
around the 40 number.
40. That's the number.
think
Okay,
40 is a
let
good
me
number.
because you mentioned 20. I just want to go and there's some guys who are active. Ferreira has.
I bet you. How
23.
many does Bobby Convey have?
Man, I'd have to go. I see. This is by cap, right? Let me sort by name, and I'll find Bobby Convey for you. Why is Bobby Convey the name that comes to
This
mind?
came in my
for you?
head because he played, I think, 2 World Cup cycles, but
Uh-huh.
injured at times, just thinking for some reason. I'm thinking, how we used to say, like, who's the most average player in MLS? I think
tell
Bobby
me.
Convey is a very on
No,
average.
but he got a sale. He ended up in England. I don't think you can call him average.
Reading
Okay.
in the championship.
It doesn't matter. He's still
I'm
with
just
the-
letting you know that would
If
like
a
his
player gets sold to the
premiership.
championship now, we're still like, wow, good job. Bobby Convey, what do you think his number was? What do you think his number was?
45.
46. Wow, really good, Mr. Dubois. 46 caps.
And I think
for
you
Bobby
think of him
Convey.
as a national team player, right?
Yes. You think that that's the number. Okay,
Let me put a number out there. Oh, so Jackie just said Rick Shea had 34. See, not 40. I don't think Rick Shea is a
No?
national team. Let me see. I'm going
Okay.
to put up another name. Jonathan Bornstein.
Johnny Bornstein, I just passed him without having to look.
I bet
Johnny
you he had
Bornstein
2.
did not get to 40. He got
Did he
38.
get to 40?
He got
38.
38.
Dang it.
30. Greg Berhalter got 44.
That makes
And
sense.
he went to a World Cup. I think
Yeah.
part of it's
He went
going to a
2
World
World
Cup.
Cups, didn't he? I think one he didn't play and one he did.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think he was on the 2002 roster and didn't play. And then was on the
2006
26.
he
played, I think.
Yeah. Brian Ching 45.
I think 40's that number, dude. I think 40's that number.
Here's a great exercise, and we're the right age for this exercise. Okay,
Yeah.
so there are 2 strikers.
There's not many exercises I'm the right age for anymore.
There are 2 strikers tied on caps, very close on goals, and I want you to tell me who you think of as more the national team
Is
player.
it
in
Twellman
your
and
head.
Ching?
No, it's Bobby Wood and Ching.
Oh, Ching for sure. I think it was more.
Bobby Wood had 2 more goals in his career with the national team than Brian Ching did.
I believe that, but at the same time, Brian Ching was a starter in World Cups. I don't think Bobby Wood ever started in a World Cup, right?
Brian Ching went to the 2006 World
So,
Cup.
and by the way,
yeah,
in my mind, kind of criminal that he did. I was team.
I know, you were a
Twellman.
Taylor
I thought
guy.
Taylor Twellman was the better choice there.
see, well, you mentioned Weston.
You already had Connor Casey on that team and Brian McBride on that team, and I just thought it was too much of the same.
Weston is now tied with Mo Adu for caps. He's going to race past that, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these guys are getting so many
Convey,
caps early.
Matt Beasler with 47. That's an
40.
interesting name.
I'm telling you, 40 is that number. Breezer was how many does Jada Merritt have? And he started late.
Jaden Merritt.
28.
Yeah, Jaden Merritt's a guy who went to a World Cup, but because he started so late, probably doesn't have all that.
I would say 28 for
caps.
Jada Merritt.
Let's see. Jada Merritt had 25 caps.
I'm pretty
as a
good at this.
national team.
This should be a game where we
What
have
about Miazga?
Matt Miazga.
Let's see. I'm gonna say 16 because you put January 6th in numbers, it looks like a 1 and a 6.
No.
No?
No.
Am I close with 16?
Matt Miazga has 28 caps. 28.
Man.
That's a good number for him. I mean, that's
So you
strong.
consider him a national teamer?
No.
No, I think he's
No.
right. Like, I think you got to be at least. I think 35, 40 is probably.
By the way,
the number.
that joke wasn't fair. That was more of a Jeff Cameron joke. That wasn't a fair joke. It wasn't a fair joke.
How many does he have?
Jeff Cameron?
Oh,
I would say Jeff Cameron is probably north of 40.
Jeff. I forgot his name was spelled.
He
with
was playing a
with
lot of
G.
games back in the day.
Hold on, I forgot his name was spelled with a G. Give me a second.
Yeah,
Jeff Cameron.
G-O-F-F.
55 caps
He has
for
a lot.
Jeff Cameron.
He was a
Jeff.
big part of that. I mean, he did. I think a lot of them are subs, but
Uh-huh.
I mean, yeah, I think he was the first man up behind Bocanegra and stuff like that during.
Here's
those
a
years.
fun number. Here's a fun one. How many caps did Freddie Adu get?
Oof. More than he should.
What's
I'm
the
gonna
number?
I'm gonna say he hit 50.
Freddie Adu had 17 caps.
17. That you know what?
whiffed hard.
I'm thinking how many.
Hard.
I mean, he has so many national team appearances at youth level. That maybe
Yeah,
that's what I'm
that
thinking.
youth
about.
level
He was
doesn't
always.
count.
You see him in a
Yeah.
U.S. jersey all the time, but
Yeah.
that makes
The-
sense
the-
actually.
Yeah. Jordan Morris has 55 caps. I mean, that guy had a solid
That
national
tracks.
team career, even
That
though
tracks.
he's 28 and he's probably done. Right?
Jordan Morris is very similar. Those are people who weren't around to watch it back in the day. Jordan Morris and Ben Olsen are very similar career trajectories. These are guys that were fast, pacey, forward and like winger type players that could really have been one of the generational talents, and just unlucky moves to Europe have resulted in injuries, and they've had to kind of change their game and change their positioning to benefit who they are, what their body can do later in their careers.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that was fun. You want to talk MLS real quick before we get out of here?
Let's get into it. I mean, do we bring Nick back on? Is that what we have to do?
Oh yeah, sure. Let's.
Thank God we didn't make a bet this season.
Should I play his old school intro or should I play the current go to?
What should you like? One, we do the other. I talked about Ferris Bueller.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
Now, he is Nicholas Soup and Sausage, and he always will be.
It's a good thing we didn't do it back because Jason wouldn't have paid up.
Yeah, that's right. Just let it hang there.
Salty, man.
Let it hang there.
Do you see how good I look with this?
Hey, remember that time Jason didn't shave his beard?
Remember that good I look with this?
Remember the time Nick ate sushi because he said he would?
Look good. I look good.
I haven't had
Kirkland sushi.
By the way, Nick has been branching out. In the last 3 to 4 weeks when we haven't had you on the show, have you branched out to new territories?
Since we're in the unstructured portion of the show, and I know you were talking about your
team.
There's no
way that's cold. There's no way that's cold.
It's cold enough. It's cold enough. Yeah. Here's to Freddie.
I got my
here's to the Lions. Go Lions, I guess. I don't know.
Is that your team for the playoffs?
I mean, I like what Orlando's doing right now. I think they are a legitimate threat. I mean,
any chance Oscar Pereira coaches that team next year?
Do you mean because he'll get a better job, or because he got a contract and they haven't re-upped him yet?
Both.
I think. Well, so last time Oscar Pereira did okay in MLS, he went off to what, Tijuana, and it didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to do that again.
If he moves, do you think he moves inside MLS or he leaves?
If I was an MLS team with an opening, I would go after Oscar Pereira for sure.
DC United?
Hold on. Here you go. Pick your poison, Jared. I'm going to give you a pick your poison. Very on 3. I don't know if we've ever done a 3-option pick your poison. Maybe we have.
A thruple?
A thruple. You're in charge of an MLS team, right? Maybe you could just imagine that Galaxy.
Hell yeah.
Maybe you can imagine the Galaxy fire Greg Vanney, or you decide to fire Greg Vanney. I don't know how you feel about that. But you are in charge of an MLS team, and you got to hire
Robin Fraser.
Do you want Oscar Pereira?
Yeah.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Or Jack Wilshere? Who are you hiring?
Give me Oscar Pereira all day. If I want to win. Now, here's the thing. I'm running a team, right? So if I'm running a team, I'm not just thinking about winning. I'm thinking about how do I make money? How do I get attention?
But if you've got Ole Gunnar or Jack Wilshere, then you've got that whole we're connected to a European team. Look at us.
Listen, and if I'm a general manager, for some reason that stupid shit matters because all of a sudden you're in the headlines of every paper in England.
I will say this: neither
Norway,
of those guys.
Where's Solskjaer from? Norway? I don't know.
He's Norwegian, yeah. Okay. Neither of those guys moves the needle one iota here in the United States.
But I'm worried about winning, I take Oscar Pereira all day long. All day long. Yeah. Because it doesn't just come with winning. It comes from winning and building a base of talent internally. He has a fantastic track record of developing talent within a club naturally.
I know it's not overly creative, but they call the guy Poppy. That tells you something about the love he engenders. And the things he passes on.
Followed by Chulo?
No, just Poppy.
Okay.
Just Poppy. Okay.
Does Nick know what Poppy means?
Nick, do you know? Actually, I'm Poppy in my house. I am Poppy in my house.
Wait, to the kid or to the wife?
Just going to let it sit there. No answer needed.
Just checking.
Nick, we can let Nick ride high here for a couple minutes. Let him celebrate and revel in a trophy. And word out today that Chris Albright got himself a brand new contract. I hope they threw him like a Ferrari.
Man.
Lifetime free Skyline chili. I don't know what else he would need from Cincinnati, but something.
Ice cream.
Best thing Cincinnati ever did was copy Philly as much as they could.
That's exactly right. That's exactly. And you can say Pat Noonan's a big part of this, but without Chris Albright, there's no Pat.
No, but here's the thing: Cincinnati showed what Philly could do if they're willing to spend money. Because they brought those principles over, they brought that idea over, and they said, "Hey, we're going to pour some gas on this at the same time."
Yeah, but they grabbed a guy from Philly, they grabbed another guy from Philly on his recommendation, and I talked to Chris Albright on my radio show, which I still don't think Jared. I
actually heard about this interview. I heard it was a very good interview.
I listened to that interview too.
WMB.
ABC.
Yeah, I know Nick was slacking about it, so I know he was listening.
It's all on it.
He said, like, one thing I thought was interesting is, like, they could have just copied the Philadelphia mode of play, which is like, an adapted high pressing system. They play that 4-4-2 diamond, but that's not what they did. They looked at their personnel that they already had that Albright couldn't do anything about, and they said, hey, look, we got a couple of guys who can play wingback, and we got a couple of forwards. Let's do a 3-5-2. Let's see how this works. And they,
not conventional.
They went out,
not conventional in the modern game
out
right now.
And got the center backs they needed to play it. And they obviously, again, they had 2 forwards. And when they lost one of those forwards because he was an asshole but scored a bunch of goals, they went out and got another forward who works. And that's the power of the scouting system in Cincinnati, that Bupenza, who hasn't put up Brenner numbers, looks like a perfect fit for that team. I think that's right.
Nick, is this team going to win the whole thing?
No, that's because we're Cincinnati.
That's so sad. What? That's so sad.
Is it because
so
does your team? Is it because teams that play more defense tend to do that? Teams are more pragmatic.
No, I just think
tend to do that.
Think the goals are going to dry up?
I think the goals. Well, it depends. If somebody like Brandon Vasquez gets hot, I think they're going to be tough to beat. But he has been pretty much a non-factor all season. Like.
He hasn't been a non-factor. He's just been not what he was last year.
He is not what he was last year.
I mean, only Nashville has let less goals in the East than Cincinnati. So, despite the amount of how many goals they've scored, they're a fantastic defensive team.
Last year was the offensive explosion year, the attacking explosion year. This year, it's been all about defense. They were winning 1-goal games for 4 months.
Out of our 20 wins, we've got 13 1-goal wins.
Yeah,
which is that means the margin.
That's a track
small.
record for postseason success, though.
That's the thing. It feels like the margins are small, and oh my God, one bad game and we're done. But I think it shows that you guys know how to win those games.
Sure.
And
but you know the phrase, "Can you do it on a rainy night in Stoke" or whatever it is? Can you do it in a 3-game series in MLS playoffs?
Well, so this is the thing that's really just messing me up is trying to figure out how this is all going to work out with this stupid format, right? So we got playing games, and right now. We can't know who's coming, who's going to, DC United's in 9th, but they're eliminated because they've already played 34 matches. So you're going to get one of what? Either Montreal, who slips down into 9th, and somebody passes them. Who else is there? Red Bulls are there.
Montreal,
Who else is down there?
New York, Chicago, all on 33, with Charlotte on 32.
There's not a. I mean,
that's games played. I'm sorry, that's games played. I'm sorry, I apologize. Montreal's on 41. Chicago's on 40. New York's on 40. Charlotte at 39. So conceivably, there's a scenario where Charlotte, I think, can get in. Yeah.
Charlotte
even
has
New York
2
City
games
FC
left.
can get in.
Charlotte has 2 games left against Inter Miami. Both of them against Inter Miami.
Miami's eliminated, and Messi ain't going to play. So
Messi's in Argentina. They're playing. They're playing next Wednesday. That game. That's right. He'd technically be back, but there's no chance he plays. Yeah,
bench him.
Yeah, I mean,
why risk him getting hurt?
They're not going to put anything into that game. If Latanzio can't get, by the way, if Latanzio can't get Charlotte into the playoffs by beating Miami twice when Miami's got shit to play for, and Messi's going to be on the bench, and probably Busquets and probably Alba, then he should absolutely get fired, and they should hire Ole Gunnar.
If your team isn't going to make it happen, who wins out of the East, or is the winner is MLS Cup coming out of the West? I don't think so.
I don't think it's coming out of the West. I'm concerned about
Watch
Orlando.
St. Louis do it. Watch St. Louis do it. Watch them do it.
I don't think so, man. I don't.
That place is a cauldron. That place is fire.
I'm concerned about Orlando. They just came into Cincinnati and knocked us off. So that and they're playing well. So I'm concerned about them. Always concerned about Nashville.
Papi Pareja.
Always tough. Outside of that, I'm not worried about
Papi Reja.
Are you discounting Philly? Are you discounting Philly at this point? Is that what we're trying?
I don't
are we in that
know
space now?
yet.
Okay, let me ask you
played
this.
well against Philly this year.
Before, okay. So obviously the table is the table, and it kind of gives you an indication over the course of the year. But right now, who are you? I'm going to go down the list. You tell me who you're most afraid of, right?
Sure.
Or rank these teams, right? So Orlando, Philly, Columbus, New England. Well, just the top 7. So Orlando, the 6 behind you. Orlando, Philly, Columbus, New England, Atlanta, Nashville. Rank those. And who you're most afraid of.
Orlando is 1.
Okay.
I'll say Nashville 2, Philly 3.
Just because
I was going to do the same. I was going to say the same thing as Nick. I think Nashville is the sleeper out of all that.
Really?
You still have Hani Mukhtar.
It's still somewhat of like a rivalry too between these two teams. We never seem to play them very well either.
Okay.
So
I have no belief in Nashville right now. I don't know. I just don't have. I don't believe in Nashville.
29 goals let in 32 games.
I no. They don't give up goals.
But in playoffs, that's what matters.
Right. I know. I guess maybe if the format is messing with me again. I know it's one off when you get the conference semis and the conference final. I like the Crew. I kind of feel like. What do you mean? You just don't like them.
The Crew.
You're not worried about them.
No,
okay.
I don't even think they're going to go very far.
New England either. I think the Bruce Arena stuff's going to overshadow all that. They got bad vibes.
I don't think New England has the team to do it. I think is the problem, not necessarily the arena factor. I think
can I have a conversation? Can we do a thought exercise in reverse here? Next year, assuming all the teams are the same, all the rosters are the same. Where does Miami finish amongst these teams next season on a full run with Messi? And I'd like to start at the Nashville line and say above or below where Nashville is this season, full season with Messi.
They're above.
I think they set the points record next year.
No, I don't think that. I think they'll finish like something like third because their
U22s are already like DPs basically.
That's true, but there will be Messi absences. There will be distractions. There will be things that happen and come up, and it won't
injuries to 36-year-old players.
They just won't run the table as a points record kind of team. That's not going to happen. I don't know that we saw Messi.
I agree with Jason. I think third.
We saw Messi run through the league in a couple of Mexican clubs in a weird format, fresh off a couple weeks of vacation. All of the energy was in it. The adrenaline was high. All those things. He's eating Argentine pizza and all those things. I think that over 34 games, dude's going to be gassed, and they're going to throw in a League Cup in the middle of that. Right? I just don't think it's going to happen.
Want to make a wager?
No. Yes, but no.
I will bet you a bottle of Kirkland Scotch.
You want to bet that they're going to set the points record? That's the line you're going to draw. Like that is a crazy high bar to set.
My man is only extremes. It's either we suck, we're going to lose every game, or
I was hard after the Leagues Cup. I was full on.
Did you just say I was hard?
I know I did. I know that was pretty bad, right?
Can we clip that?
Right. I was very high. I said it multiple times in the Bestie Slack.
1 hour 11 minutes, Jason.
Okay, yeah. Let's clap.
I thought they were gonna. I genuinely thought they were gonna make the playoffs and win MLS Cup. I said it here on the show.
You did.
I thought they were.
Listen, and that may have happened had he not got injured.
Right. So, I think that next year they're going to improve the roster. Right. They're going to make signings.
They should. Look, worth saying though that Jared's like proposing that the roster stays the same, and where do they finish? They're going to improve the roster. Chris Henderson already did a ton of work. By the way, tip of the cap to that guy. He won't win Executive of the Year, but he probably should. And then but Messi's a year older, Alba's a year older, Busquets is a year older. What do you say? For sure,
I think they'll get Gregor back. He's pretty good.
Gregory is coming back.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's true.
He's a pretty solid midfielder who could spare Busquets some minutes.
Yeah, All right, so I like how we're completely ignoring the West Coast because that's what we should do at all times.
I don't want to think about the West Coast until.
Do you remember last? I haven't. I wish I would have written
out there, so don't go there.
Predictions down. I'll have to go back.
After that, though, it's not worth talking about.
I'll have to go back and listen to the show where we did our predictions.
Yeah,
on where teams fell, which also we didn't do right because they changed the postseason format. So I don't even think we have 9 teams. Picked.
Wait, did we do our predictions before they?
I think we did
the
Supporter Shield.
Yeah, we did it before
that's all we did.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, we did our.
No, I know, but I don't think we said playoffs and who's going to be in what order. Did we say what order teams are going to finish? Oh, we did.
Yes.
You got the notes. You got the documents?
Because you all said FC Cincinnati would finish second in the East, and I thought you all were crazy. All of us were wrong.
Geniuses over here.
Some people were closer than others.
I mean,
you're right.
We're almost geniuses.
I think I put Orlando pretty high too in that.
You might have,
and I think you guys didn't.
Orlando has a tendency to drift at the end of the season. They didn't this year. This is new. So
yeah, we're gonna have to review that.
I think we all downgrade this week for next. Did we downgrade Philly or do we take Philly because look at how great they were last year?
I think we both had Philly up top, maybe even the top spot.
Well, then we missed it because of course the Champions League was going to hammer them, and the fixture congestion was going to hammer them, right?
Which is also going to affect. I mean, that's weird to think that Cincinnati's going to play in the
Miami's going to be in it too, right?
Miami's in the Champions Cup too, which is another reason Miami can't set a points record next year. It's not going to happen because they have extra games on top.
I was trying to get that wager, Jason. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, my bad. So let's talk about the West first. Somebody has to represent the Western Conference. That's how this works, right? So let's do this. Obviously, Jared Dubois' team sucks ass, so let's not talk about them at all.
I don't think they do, but
I like how you live in an alternative universe where they're pretty good. They just didn't make the playoffs.
They are. Here's the thing. Like, I would take their brand of football over any other team in the league right now. I like the brand of football we play, except for
Columbus.
I think we play the best possession-based football in the league, and if the players have stayed healthy, we would have been able to do something with it. So I think Greg Vanney should come back next year.
Okay, I think he's coming back.
I want to see what he can do with the Costa DP spot open, the Chicharito DP spot open, and that core team coming back with Brugman healthy.
But do you
Neal
trust
healthy.
this team? Like, I feel like they fell ass backwards into Ricky Puig. Like, that just kind of like showed up on their doorstep. Like,
okay,
how did that happen? No, I know they did, but what I'm saying is, and I know Chris Klein is gone, and there are new people in charge. Who's the guy you stole from LAFC? Who's that guy? Will Kuntz. I know there's new people in charge, and I know there's probably more trust.
It's really
in the front
important
office.
to get that vowel right, by the way, too.
Yeah, absolutely it is. But I don't know that I trust them to fill these DP slots like competently. Like, I don't know. What are we going to get?
Listen, Will Kuntz has a pretty decent track record of as a GM. You know, I must say, be judged solely on the summer window when they finally had the ability to make a couple moves to get Fagundes, to get Yoshida, and to get Casorio and Barrios. I think those were all and Billy Sharp. Those are 5 really good signings in a short window, and almost all of them saw some kind of contribution.
Yeah,
when there wasn't much, they had to hit it real quick.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
It's a short track record.
This is what we said, though, right? And this is what Bruce said months ago before he got kicked out of New England. You have no excuses in Los Angeles. There are none. You're the Arizona state of recruiting when it comes, if you know what I'm talking about there. Like, you guys have every advantage when it comes to recruiting foreign players, and for you to have messed it up this bad, I know injuries are a major part of it, but for you to have messed it up this bad to this point is just insane. It's just.
But talking about the West as a whole, I'm excited for Houston next season. I would really hope that they can build on what they're doing right now. I think they're doing something really fun.
I think they're like 1 or 2 players away. Like they look really. And by the way, can we give Ben Olsen some love, please? I feel like MLS and American soccer has dumped on Ben Olsen for a decade. That dude can coach.
Look where he was.
He could exactly.
He made DC United somehow work for 12 years or something like that.
I love that story.
I'm really happy about that.
I'm the first one to advocate for, hey, go out and get the sexy name to show your fan base that you care, that you're ambitious, right? Like, I don't know that Jack Wilshere's the right guy for Colorado. I think that's kind of a joke because he hasn't done anything and he's 31. But I get that you would say you'd be sending a message to your fan base like, here's a name.
Solskjaer's a legitimate hire. Someone wanted to do that though. Solskjaer, there's nothing wrong with making that hire.
Solskjaer's record sucks.
He's coached in the Premiership, for God's sake, and he's won a Champions League. The guy,
he won a Champions League as a player.
And when he called Coach Molde, he was damn good at Molde.
Okay, Molde.
All I'm saying is that he has a better track record than Jack freaking Wilshere.
No, that's 100% true. That's true. I will say that coaches in MLS have gotten jobs. Wayne Rooney. Coaches have gotten jobs in MLS based on records like what he did at Molde. But the guy coached in the Premier League because they literally couldn't find anybody else to take that job after Jose Mourinho burned the house down.
He's the guy that steps up when you need it.
I'm just saying, he wasn't ready. It was a poison chalice situation. It's not his fault, by the way, what happened at United. Clearly, we're watching Eric Ten Hag go through some shit, too. Like, it happens. I just think it's hilarious that the guy's selling himself. Like, he came to America and he's like,
Bradley can go from Molde to LAFC. Why can't Solskjaer go from Molde to Colorado Rapids?
Is that where Bradley was? Molde?
It's the same reason why Jaap Stam came from the Championship over here and stunk it up. So
maybe it wasn't Molde, but it was in that league. I'm not
Bob's
sure.
at Stabæk.
Yeah, Stabæk. Again. That's what it was. He's back at Stabæk.
He's back at Stabæk. Yeah. I looked it up. Their stadium holds 5,000.
My man's living his best life right now. 5, the dude's just like in Europe eating chocolates and like
5,
visiting Luxembourg. and collecting
Do you think he's doing that? First of all, Scandinavia is very far from Luxembourg. Second of all,
on the weekends.
Bob's like,
They all
jetting
got
down
trains to go
Luxembourg.
everywhere there. That's fantastic.
Wait,
It's like
they don't
future.
play. They don't play the games on the weekends in Norway.
I don't know. Do they? Is it get too dark in the winter or something? I don't know.
Is it winter? It's not winter. What are you talking about?
One thing we need to talk about the West that is going
Yeah.
to be a big disappointment when we go back and listen to this
Seattle
prediction
drops.
episode.
Yeah.
Is we had Austin pretty high.
I think.
I mean,
I think St. Louis is the next Austin.
You think they're
Really?
going to drop off a cliff next year?
I do.
Really?
I think it's hard to. I think it's hard to sustain that. I think Austin kind of showed that. I also think that unless Seattle does some heavy changes in the offseason, I think they're ripe for a drop.
This is where Seattle is royally bleeped because they always knew that this was going to come. Like every team ages to a point of you got to make changes and you got to refresh, right? I think the Galaxy hit that wall and they're still trying to climb.
Yeah.
They're still trying to climb out of that hole. It becomes, and I remember talking to Garth
Toronto.
Rodaway a couple years ago where he said, this is after they won MLS Cup, and he said, like, the problem in MLS, and it's true everywhere, but the problem, especially in MLS with the salary budget rules, is that when you win a championship, everybody wants more money for their part in the championship. So now you have trouble keeping guys because everybody wants to go off and make more money. So if you can actually go from championship to staying a contender, it's a magical thing in Major League Soccer, but they have now hit that moment where the age has caught up with them. I mean, Morris is 28, Roldan's 28. Like they're fine in a couple spots, but Ladero basically said goodbye this past weekend. Rui Diaz is broken. He's not coming back to play at the same level he was at. You're dealing with a lot of that. Stephen Fry eventually is going to slow down. He's very good this year, but eventually he'll slow down. They don't have Garth there to navigate that anymore. And
How old is João Paulo?
Yeah, I mean, he's
Not
got to
young.
be
34.
He's got to be pushed. Yeah, he's somewhere up there. I don't know. I can't
His
remember.
position, you might be able to get a few more years out of it, but
Well, I mean, you obviously you've got an Ozzy Alonso kind of situation. He's 32.
Yeah.
He's 32.
Yeah.
Who's
That
running
saw
the
those-
show?
Didn't we see there was RSL too once Garth left? They kind of fell off the. I mean,
Yeah,
they were
right.
the top club in Major League Soccer for.
And by the way, speaking of that, what's hilarious?
look at Atlanta coming back up.
Think about this, and it's obviously connections. The guy who replaced Garth in Salt Lake, at least maybe not initially. Wait, am I getting this right? Did Craig Weibel get that job right after Garth left?
Wasn't it Henderson?
No.
Okay.
Chris Henderson worked for Garth and then left for Miami.
Okay.
But I think Craig Weibel was the guy right after Garth in Salt Lake. Somebody's going to remember this. Now he's the guy in Seattle after Garth. He's got to be the one to navigate this stuff.
I'm pretty sure FC Cincinnati were interested in him for their GM
Well, sure.
spot.
Why wouldn't you be? The guy's a kingmaker.
They ended up going with not.
No,
I'm not talking about Garth. I'm talking about
He means
Weibel.
Weibel. I think Weibel's a smart guy. I think he knows what he's doing.
He's the
but
Bob
it's-
Bradley to Bruce Arena.
It's going to be really tough. It's a Rubik's Cube of a situation.
Honestly though, Garth Lagerwey is the Bruce Arena of the GM position. Like it's him, and then there's a big drop to the next
this is what's
guy.
funny. This is funny about Atlanta, who got a lot better after Garth arrived and the summer that they had.
And he's going to get a full offseason now to do some stuff.
They will tell you that he's not the guy. That Carlos is the guy. It's still
Really?
Carlos. That it's not. Garth Lagerwey is the president. He's higher up the food chain. He's doing other stuff, business stuff. He got
I don't buy that.
business
Come
to do.
on, dude.
I don't buy that for a second.
Well, they're absolutely tapping into Garth's.
Yeah,
network
George
of
W. Bush is making
connections.
all the decisions, not Cheney.
Yeah. All right. This has been a supersized
I
show.
need to eat dinner.
You have to eat dinner, so no
Yeah, I
bonus.
got Thai food
All
the
right,
next week.
Fine. Gotta go.
They got 30 minutes of bonus right now.
Free bonus. That's how you have to look at it. Shout out to the besties. I do a couple of bits.
There'll be a
business
pre-show
before
though. We take the pre-show, right? So we're good on
Did
that.
I say anything bad? Did I say anything bad? Did you say
I don't
anything
think
bad?
so.
Did
Oh, I
Nick say
definitely
anything?
did, but you didn't. I don't think so. We're good.
Nick didn't say anything bad. I said something bad? I did?
No,
mean,
I said I probably did.
We talked about Taylor Swift. Nick has a thing about Travis Kelce. Taylor
Oh.
Swift. Don't have time for it now.
You'll hear it on the pre-show.
Business. Patreon.com/The Best Soccer Show. Sign up, get bonus shows when we make them, which we do regularly. Not right
If you're
now.
traveling to Hartford, now's the time. There's literally threads going on about meeting up.
The besties meet up. By the way, please, besties, take photos, post them in the
Please.
Slack. We're going to put those up. We want to put them on the Patreon.
The next show, we should bring up the photos from it and recognize some folks.
What does this mean? Did Morgan take a photograph that involved Travis Kelce?
She did. I think it was that one she did in color and black and white or something like that. But yeah, she did a.
Oh, she went viral? Our girl went viral? Is that what happened? I'm not paying attention. I don't know.
Morgan's on the up.
No, I know Morgan's I don't know what that is. Morgan's the best. I just didn't know.
It all came from here, just so you know. Like we get what percentage of credit do we get? What percentage?
Point
when every time she clicks that camera, how many cents do we get?
0, 0. Oh, Travis Kelce posted a photo that Morgan took with credit. Shout out to Travis Kelce for hooking up the creators. That's good stuff. All right.
Morgan, I'm gonna need Taylor Swift tickets.
Patreon.com/thebestsoccershow. Get bonus stuff. Get back. You get the what's the word? Back catalog. You get back catalog, and the bonus shows keep. I will say that. They're not evergreen. Of the moment. They're evergreen. They keep. Make sure that you give us a rating and review. Sign up, subscribe.
Did we
and all that.
do a bonus show since Nick's drunken escapade? I don't think we ever got the behind the scenes.
I don't think we addressed it.
Of that. We're gonna have to do the reenactment and get the debrief on that situation.
We didn't ask Nick if he's still married after all that. That maybe is something we should have asked him.
But on the Patreon, you would have seen his drunk videos throughout the night of the progression into debauchery.
The part I crack up about is he got slack face, like his like no ability to control his facial expression. It was amazing. What other business? Jared, am I missing something? I mean, we're not going to be here next week. I'm celebrating my anniversary.
Your dual anniversaries.
Yeah, I'm off to the Finger Lakes to celebrate my anniversary.
By the way, I just want to say real quick to interrupt.
Huh?
I got everybody in the Slack to wish you a freaking happy birthday, and you didn't even acknowledge it in the Slack.
I didn't. I thought I did. No. I thought I did. Okay. Well, thank you to everybody who said happy birthday. You did, and I was watching. I was there. I saw it all. I thank you very. Maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe because I feel old now, Nick. I don't know. It could be that I'm dead inside. I'm wearing black T-shirts. I must be in my emo phase or something. I don't know what's going on.
Your Henry Rollins phase.
Thank you to I wish. Thank you to everybody who said happy birthday to me. Yeah. I'm in my Hank Aaron year. I don't have a soccer player for this, so I have to go with my Hank Aaron year. Okay. That's actually pretty good from Connor. I said Finger Lakes, and you didn't make a joke, Jared. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?
My bad. I honestly was thinking about something else in the moment. I didn't even hear it. But yeah, that's on me. That one's on me.
So no show next week, which means that we won't be able to respond to the national team games. My apologies on that, but we'll do our best to get back as soon as possible.
Morgan says she hit 25 yesterday. Got any advice? Open a Roth IRA.
You know what? How about this? If enough people sign up at the Patreon, I don't have a threshold for this.
Oh, wait, are you going to make a deal on something? Because you welch.
No, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it. No, not me. This is not for me. This is actually, I'm going to actually set you up more than, this is not about me. Maybe if we get a certain point on Patreon, Jared and Nick will freaking do shows without me. How about that? How would you guys step up and just make some content?
Why am I getting punished and Nick's getting punished? Like, why do we have to do extra work? We have to do extra work.
You want, well, okay. If you think of it that way, fine.
What I would do with Nick, though, I would do a bonus show with Nick where each of us start like trying foods together.
Kirkland brand only.
We should do a taste testing show, like a mukbang kind of thing.
Oh man.
Where he tries something I want and I get it as well. Like we both have something that each other wanted and we both taste them together. I would do that.
I have an assignment for everyone who has not left us a review on Apple Podcasts. Go leave us a review, and in your review, tell us your favorite Kirkland signature product, please. I'd like to know. Making a list. I'm a Costco guy. I'm a middle-aged father of two in the suburbs.
Going to Costco.
Let's go. Free samples.
All the fat people trying to get free samples, and I can't get down the aisle. I can't stand it.
Listen to you.
They're all in the way. They're all in the way. Why
is
a bite of sausage worth delaying me?
You're so prejudiced. There's skinny people eating those samples. Don't act like there aren't.
I can get around them.
You're just biased. Okay.
My cart don't fit.
That sounds like a problem you guys.
Everyone in there's got elastic waistbands.
All right. Yeah, you guys got a supersized show. We're going to get out of here. Thank you very much for listening, besties. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.
Can I get a manager? Can I please get a manager?
Damn, dog, that's an approach.
Michael freaking Orozco Pascal.
We are at DEF CON 1.
DEF CON 1.
Calm down, Greg. It's soccer. It's soccer.
Get to the chopper!
Who asked those questions?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
It was there for. Here we go, saucing them up. Hit him. What?
The Sausage King of Chicago.
WNBC. WNBC.
I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
Can I please get a manager?
Jay Rodius.